I'm Brandy. To those of you who are new here, welcome to my channel. 3 years ago, I went through an awakening and became sort of conscious, conscious, and became a vegan and really opened up my mind and my heart to different facets of living and feeling like I understood that we're living in this matrix. And so basically what happened was, during the course of my awakening, I actually realized that I didn't fit into a normal work setting. I became really uncomfortable. It became really tough. So that was probably around 2 years ago, actually, that I decided that I really needed to leave. I needed to leave this career. When the realization came, I was so scared and conditioned to go to college, to, study and get the degree, and then you go and work for someone. And that's mainly what college does, right? That's what it teaches you to do, is to work for someone else. Actually, a few months ago, this part kind of transitions into how I was able to retire. A few months back, probably in April, I decided that I wanted to, work on my finances and get those in order and figure out where I was. So I started looking at podcasts, like listening to podcasts about, being financially fit. And I came across something called FIRE, which stands for Financially Independent Retire Early. And I'm like, what is this? And so I just listened to tons and tons of podcasts on the subject, and basically the premise is that you not only save up enough money to retire, but it's basically you have enough to retire, but then you can passively make income. You can passively you can sit back and live your life and passively make income. And so I was like, that's what I need to do. How do I get there? So once I figured out what that was, I said, okay, what can I do to get there and get there, fast? So I started looking up different investment strategies, and I came across something called wholesaling, which is basically, but it's totally legal, but you don't have to have a real estate license to do it. So you find this house, if the owner decides that they don't want the house, you can go under contract with the owner of the house, right, to sell the house or to buy the house, right? And then you have this window, 10 days or whatever window you have or that you want to close, on a house. And then you find a buyer on the other end who is interested in buying this home. And then you charge them both, the seller and the buyer, a fee to purchase the house. And so I was like, what? And homeless people do this. Anyone can do this. It's insane. But so I literally was like YouTube University, wholesaling. And then I found a mentor and started speaking to her about it. So I found out how to do that. I also found out how to invest in homes and apartment buildings and everything. And I was like, how am I gonna do that? I don't have this big chunk of money, But what I found out after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talks about how, the rich don't work for their money. They let their money work for them. Real estate investors, or anyone really, they use OPM, other people's money. They don't even use their own money. These are rich people. They find private investors or, investors in general, or private lenders, to fund whatever they're doing, whether it's a flip or it's buying an apartment building or a house and renting it out. And so I found out all of these things and I was like, what? During those few months, I learned so much. I learned that not only can rich people use OPM, but regular people like me can use OPM. I learned about drop shipping. I learned about, you know, like eBay drop shipping and Amazon drop shipping. I went to Udemy. Udemy has like courses online that you can learn. Like you can learn about drop shipping. And drop shipping as far as like eBay and Amazon. There's all kinds. I learned about Airbnb rental arbitrage, where you can rent in certain areas. You have to watch whatever city you're in as far as the regulations go. But in certain areas, you can like rent a house or rent an apartment and rent it out as to Airbnbers when they come. And you get actually more money, sometimes 3 times the amount of money in a month than you would have in a regular rental. Yeah, crazy. There's all kinds of podcasts about it, YouTube videos about it, or of course you can even rent out your own place. But if you don't have to own a house or or a condo, whatever, townhome, in order to do Airbnb and make money. You know, I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's really simple. You know, it takes work to do some of these things, but what I'm saying is, if a homeless person can do it, you can do it. You know what I mean? So that's why and how I'm able to leave. I made another plan as far as making money for myself. I did the work and researched, right? And I thankfully have OPM, other people's money, to use. But anyone can get OPM, you know. You can work on your credit score if it's not up to like a 550. Obviously, I'm not an expert, but what I'm telling you is I did all of these months of research, and I know all of these things, like these ways. I probably am missing something, ways to make money, right? So yeah, that's how I'm able to do it. And when it comes to retiring, I am just incredibly excited about it. I feel like this was the time to do it. I have to take risk, and it actually was time to do it, because I am not an astrologer, which means I don't practice it professionally, but I am an astrologist, which means that I apply astrology to my life. And so I'm like, I feel like, I was telling my astrologer, I was like, I feel like I have to leave. I have to take this opportunity. I had a contract that was ending. I said, I feel like I have to take this opportunity. She's like, well, yeah, you're eclipsing in your 6th house, which is the house of work. And so when there's an eclipse, you leave things behind. It was time for me to just leave it behind. Obviously, I needed to make a plan. I had to be practical about it. And so I did. I just made a plan to leave. A lot of manifestation. I had to manifest, and I had to call in all of this to happen. Astrology is a bridge between questions and answers, right? So I said, what would be the best way for me to make money based on my chart? Real estate, cannabis industry. Those are even opening a holistic practice one day. Those are ways that I could leave my job and have the freedom that I desire, right? And I know where my resources are going to come from. That's another thing that came up in my reading. Oh, yes, you're going to get resources from here, here, and there, right? So that is how I did it. People say that money is like the root of all evil. Money is not evil, okay? Whoever said that money doesn't make you happy, it doesn't make you happy, but it does give you freedom, right? That's point blank period. If you don't have to worry about money, if you don't have to worry about living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, if you don't have to worry about, can I go on this trip? Or, can I take this time off of work? That's happiness. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next time. Bye.